Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 4, and today we're going to be talking about the finale. So yes, we're back again with another finale spoiler video, just due to the fact that over the past few days they have actually been shooting the finale and they have officially wrapped on Season 4. So we've got a lot to go over in this video, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any DC TV videos later this year. So before we actually go on to talk about the photos, all coming from Canada Graphs, so all rights go to them because they took the photos whilst they were actually around the set in Vancouver. But I quickly wanted to mention that these aren't like ending spoilers to the episode, because if you didn't know, most of the time TV shows and films, they don't normally shoot things chronologically. They do it in what way suits the film production or the TV production best, and those are probably the inside scenes first, and then they do the big action stunt scenes outside if it's an action show like The Flash. So this isn't the end of the episode that I'm going to be talking about, although it was the last scene that they actually shot in Season 4. So I just wanted to clarify that. But Canada Graphs actually released a blog about the things that they saw on set over the past few days, and we've got some interesting new news as to what's going to be happening in this. So first off, I wanted to go over the photos as to what Canada Graphs actually posted online. So yesterday we talked about Ralph and him actually returning, and Barry actually potentially going back in time in order to save Ralph, but I still think that he will actually go back in time, but I think he will just talk to Ralph for a second and he will alter something really minor, but it will actually help in defeating Devoe in the end. Because as we know from the next photo, Ralph is back to his normal self. He's got his superhero suit, so somehow he's going to return. I'm unsure as to why and how he's going to return in this form, but I think in his other form, in his old kind of more chubby form that he had earlier in the season when we first met him, that is due to time travel. But this new form is a totally different version of Ralph, and I'm fairly certain that you can see on the screen now the more chubby version of himself is actually just in a few short minutes where Barry goes back in time before this season actually happened, before he actually went on that bus. So I think he's just going to be talking to him and he's going to give him little hints as to change in the future in a way that it won't affect the future too bad, but it will actually keep Ralph alive somehow. So on the set, Canada Graphs actually spotted that there were a load of Devoe lookalikes, so it's practically like an army of Devoes. There is lots of Devoes chasing after Ralph and Barry in a scene that they shot for the finale episode. So this leads me to my theory as to what's going on here. So my best theory as of now is that these are AI versions of himself, that they are physical manifestations of himself, and obviously on set they don't have the CGI, they don't have the special effects, so you can't see that. But my guess is that they are AI versions of himself, because if you didn't know, in the comics, in the more recent Jeff Johns run with the Thinker and the Flash recently, the Thinker was actually not himself, but he was an AI version of himself for the most part. And I think that that would be really awesome if they could actually include the AI element of his story from the comics into the TV show, and having an army of physical AI versions of himself would actually be really advanced, and it would be really awesome to see Barry and Elongated Man actually go up against them. So moving on from that army of Devoes scene that was shot last night, there was also a scene of the Elongated Man taking on, you guessed it, the Elongated Man. So there is two versions of Ralph at one point here, and it's not the chubby version, it's two different versions, and I believe that one of these versions is in fact the real Devoe, because I feel like Devoe has actually still got Ralph's original body, and I feel like this version of the Elongated Man is a different version, and I don't know where he's from as of now, but potentially it could be a different version of Ralph that is actually helping out Barry, and that the one that he's put the cuffs on is actually the original Devoe. And because, you know, he's in Ralph's body right now, although he doesn't look like him, he can still change his looks, and I feel like this is most likely him, considering he is the big villain in the finale and they need to stop the big villain. And I think that he will be in his Ralph Dibny form when they actually stop him in the end, because that's the body that he's currently in. He's not in his original body. His original body has been murdered. So massive things happening in the finale. Obviously we don't have all the context, but we've got the photos, we've got what Canada Graphs has actually blogged about, and so we've got a rough idea of what's probably going to be happening in this episode. So there's going to be an army of Devoes. I personally think that is going to be AI versions of himself, and I think the Elongated Man fight scene at the end is actually going to be Elongated Man taking on Devoe in his Ralph Dibny form that he's currently got. That's his body, and I think, as you can see, this version of Ralph actually has a belt that says EM for elongated man, and I think it's a different version. I think it would be really cool if it's a future version or an alternate timeline version of himself, or from another Earth. I don't think it will be from another Earth, but I think if he's a different version than our original Ralph, we can see a different version of himself, and that can carry on to next season and is very different to the version that we had earlier in the season. This is just what I'm hoping for and what I think could be plausible. And also finally, so we have the time travel aspect of this. I think is definitely going on. He's going to just alter a tiny thing in the timeline to do with Ralph. He's going to have a chat, he's going to speed off with him, and then he's going to go back to the future. That's my theory. Obviously none of this is concrete apart from the information from the set. So anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.
It doesn't make us strong, it doesn't make us weak. Tongue tied to service like Shari.